Let's face it, on the turn of 2026, Windows 11, which was already a hot mess from AI and bloat, turned even worse. There are updates that seem to be crashing people's systems and causing a headache all around the globe, you could say. In this video, I'm going to be going over how to download Nobara Linux, get it set up on a USB stick, getting it installed, and some generic basics from when you get inside the operating system, and hopefully make it for a nice, easy time for you if you decide to give Linux a shot. This can also be used as a general template for installing other versions of Linux as well. So let's get a move on with this. Welcome to Vensire Studios, and let's get this started. So as usual, there are chapters in the description section below, or you could use the seek bar to jump ahead in case there are certain things you already know and just want to jump around. Make it easier for your convenience. Alright, so yeah, we need to get Nobara and Rufus to get it installed. So first you're going to go to the Nobara website, to the download section, and we're going to use the official installer, which the most recent is 328. There are other desktop variants like GNOME, a standard, a KDE, a Steam HTPC one, and a handheld one as well. There are also NVIDIA specific ones as well. Sometimes these are not available for download, I have noticed, but I wanted to use the official standard download anyway because I'm going to be going through driver installation anyway. So you go ahead and click download and just tell it to start downloading, download it to where you want. Then we're also going to need something to install it, the ISO to a USB drive. We're going to use Rufus for this. It's kind of like the media creation tool you can use to create the Windows USB drive ones, except this one just does it straight from the ISOs that you download from any one that you have, including Windows. So in their download section, you can just get it from here. I don't know why in dark mode it shows it like this. It just does, but it is here, and we're just going to be using this one right here, which is the portable version. So I can close that on out, and we're going to load up Rufus. Check for updates. Nah, not going to worry about that. You can see the volume here, 64 gigabyte drive, and select your ISO. And it'll bring up that it has to use some kind of like direct disk write or something like that. I'm assuming that's what DD means. I don't know, but it's letting you know it has to use a specific kind of method to try and enforce it to be done. So yeah, if you didn't notice, you gotta hit select here to grab it. But yeah, you leave everything else alone. You just hit start. It'll bring up another thing about needing to wipe the partitions, and you just tell it okay. And it'll go through and get that all set up. Now, I'm going to cover and double check just before we go any further from here to make sure that this works with TPM and Secure Boot. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'll go look it up real quickly. We can do that, right? Why not? Let's do that while this is getting done. So we'll open this up, type in Nobara Linux, TPM, and that's not and Secure Boot. Maybe I should make that. See if this pops up with anything. Nobara Linux does not support Secure Boot out of the box, which can lead to issues when enabling TPM and Secure Boot features. If you want to use these features, you may need to disable Secure Boot. If you want to use these features, you may need to disable Secure Boot and follow specific instructions for signing kernel modules. Okay, so for the generic install on this, you will have to disable Secure Boot. So you might as well just disable the TPM as well. It is different from vendors. I could just pop on the screen here showing you how it is done from Asus, but you will have to check your motherboard manufacturer to see exactly where to disable the Secure Boot. Secure Boot itself, though, usually is in the boot section in the BIOS. TPM maybe would be a little bit different and harder to find depending on, again, motherboard, differences between Intel and AMD. So double check on those and getting those disabled before moving any further. But yes, once this is done and it confirms that you're just going to restart your computer and boot into the created USB drive, which also, if you you might need to go into the BIOS at that point in time anyway and set it up that you want to boot from the USB stick itself. So you might as well just get all of that done at the same time. While you are doing this, it is highly recommended, or I highly recommend, you back up your Windows systems or important files. So for me, I'm going to be dual booting. It's not a major issue. But if you are, say, not dual booting, you're going to want to have a Windows backup of your entire system. I use personally Macroom Reflect Free. You can get off of Major Geeks. It's not officially supported by Macroom anymore, but that is what I use. There are plenty of others for you to choose from out there so that you can restore your system if you're going to wipe your entire system and install Linux. But at the very least, make sure you have your files backed up so that you can access them later in the future from like on an external drive, on a separate drive inside the system itself, or so forth. I can't stress enough how much you should back up your stuff before doing any of this. When you first load up the USB, it'll bring up the grub menu. The highlighted one will probably be the test this media and start Nobara 43, but you should just be able to go right up to start Nobara 43. There's no real reason you should have to test the USB stick. So just select that one and we'll get right into the installer. Alright, so once you get to this part, the first thing you're going to want to do if you don't have it connected is connect to your wireless. So you just do that, tell it to connect, and then put in your password, and it'll connect right on up. I already put in the password for this one just before recording, so it's not asking me for the password, but yeah. Then you're just pretty much going to follow the prompts like you would when installing Windows. Go to next, choose your time zone, choose your keyboard layout and such, and here's where you will put in your generalized information. You have a choice on the password section to choose to have a separate password for root, or you can keep both of those the same. Personally, I keep those the same. So once that is all finished and situated, you just go ahead and hit next. And this is where you're going to choose where you're going to install Nobara. Now, as you can see here, here's my Windows one. I could just literally have it replace everything on here and have it erase the disk. Or you could also install it alongside by selecting which partition you want it to take from, like you can see here, and then choosing the size that you want your Linux section to be. Now for me, I'm going to be choosing my 2 terabyte Samsung drive. So I'm just going to select this, which is empty. This is the one I use for testing with Pop! OS, but I've since cleaned it out. I'm going to tell it to erase disk. You also have the choice to have Hibernate to choose from and whatnot. I don't use Hibernate. Honestly, since like early Windows 10 and such, I've had no luck with it on Windows or on Linux. So this goes for my desktop and the laptop sitting right here in front of me. So it is what it is. Sleeps fine. You can set it to swap to file for that. And it really doesn't take anything away from it other than, well, it's in sleep mode instead of a full Hibernate. Now, encrypt system. The whole point of this is to make it so that all your information is encrypted. That means nobody can access it without the proper passphrase. That's why you got to put it in the passphrase here and then confirm it. Once you do all that, you will see it lock the actual partition itself. And you'll have that confirmed because it changes it to Luke's 2 right here. And that way, every single time you boot up, you're going to have to put in this passphrase. It is saved locally only. It isn't saved online by default like Microsoft's BitLocker. So once you got that also situated, hit next. And as you see here, it is going to confirm your information from your location, keyboard layout, and partitions, and inform you on what is being done to the system down here. And then you just click install. Now this is going to take a little while, but once that is done, you just can tell it to restart the computer and then just tell it to finish. Or you can just still mess around in the live install if you wanted to, just to check a few things out before you load up into your Linux system. Okay, the install finally finished. I'm clicking restart now and done. So once this is done, usually it sets Nobara as the primary boot, but if it doesn't, you might have to jump into your system's BIOS, go into the boot section, and set it as the primary. So with this being fully booted on up, you're going to be greeted with a welcome screen. If it's a new install, it might ask you to go into the updater section to get updates that you may need for your system. Clicking on this current version, clicking yes to check from, it doesn't seem to boot it up, so that's kind of weird. So if you have updates, it'll show it on the bottom right down here, or we're in the welcome screen. You're going to get to it anyway from here. So first steps, update my system. So this is the third location you can find it and get updates as quickly as possible. The software installer on this is not necessarily the fastest. It's trying to get you important notices like you see over here talking about the NVIDIA graphics cards. And if you start typing in here before it's finished, it'll actually just delete what you typed currently. And you're just going to have to retype it again. It is what it is. There are no updates in here, but there is something I am going to install. And that is flat posts. This is for installing flat packs onto your system. It used to come installed directly with Nobara, but doesn't appear to be anymore. So I'm getting this set up as well. It's kind of the same in there as this DNF Software Center. It's a little slow. Give it like 10 seconds to do what it's doing before you start searching, or I don't know why that has a problem. I'm hoping that gets fixed in the future. But yeah, other than that, things have been rather smooth on here. Install media codec packages. Yes, this is for being able to have playback for like H.264, H.265, AV1, stuff like that. So you want this stuff installed and set up. It cannot be installed with the installer due to patent reasons. So they make it easy here. You just got to do that, hit accept, and it'll get fully set up and installed for you. It doesn't take that long to get done, thankfully. For the generic setup on a system, this pretty much covers it other than graphics and drivers. So I installed it without the NVIDIA graphics. I'm going to show you what it looks like, so you load this up. Normally, if you bring it up other than from here, it'll ask you for your password information to get it going. In fact, it might actually be under here, which it is. So that's something you got to move over real quick to get that done. Once you get that in there, it gives you a list of all of your devices and so forth. But we're primarily focused here on the NVIDIA graphics, which is the 360 Mobile Max Q. Now you can see the Radeon graphics are fully installed. It's got green next to it. It shows at least detection and such, but not installed properly. So you can click on it. It'll show you a list of things you could use to install on it. Not recommended with Luke's. Okay. So there's several different modules and so forth that you can choose from. This is the primary production line as it shows here. These are the new 595 graphics that are supposed to work better with DirectX 12. So you just tell it to get it installed, and it'll go through here, and normally you would reboot afterwards, but I'm actually going to install the extra CUDA packages. That is for later on for myself when I install like DaVinci Resolve. But yeah, you just gotta leave it alone. It'll run through its thing. It'll verify everything and get it installed, and then you could just hit reboot. Or for in my instance, I'm just gonna hit OK, install CUDA, and then I'll reboot. I'll double check the AMD one, maybe. I think Rock'em, that's hardware acceleration you'd be using with that, gets installed out of the gate. But maybe not. So if you're on an AMD system instead, double check on that and get that installed if you're gonna say use like DaVinci Resolve or need the other hardware acceleration capabilities outside of like generic gaming and so forth. This does take a little while. That is the advantage of post-editing. Okay, this one's for the finishing up the graphics install. Counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it finally finished the whole install. Gonna hit OK. I'm gonna go to CUDA. This one installs a lot faster, thankfully. Running transaction, and it should be done rather quickly, and then we'll get to the final parts of this video. Yay! So now I'm gonna go ahead and reboot. Okay, there's actually one more thing I meant to go over also for hardware specifically. If you are a gamer and use an Xbox controller that uses Bluetooth, you do need to install proprietary software on there as well, and that is down here. So inside the driver manager, you go to the top right to the cog to show all device profiles. Go down, click on the Linux kernel driver for Xbox One and Xbox Series X as accessories, and you go ahead and click install. And once that is done installing, just go ahead and restart one more time. And then we will continue on with the rest of it, because this also doesn't take long to do either, thankfully. Oh, there is actually a EULA you have to go through as well. Oh geez, this one's a bit longer than the HP one. We'll get to printers in a little bit, because after this we got software, general software install through several different means. Oh, RPM to install. And general compatibility versus Windows coming over to Linux, including fonts, and that's it. Other than printers. Yeah, printers. Okay. BRB. Alright, we're back here. Okay. Well, first, before getting to the software, in case you have extra drives or extra partitions that you would like to share, like say from Windows, you can launch the drive manager here. Find your partitions you want. Like for me, I want my 784 gigabytes one. So I just enable it in here. Then it puts a shortcut on the desktop. If you don't want that, you can just turn it off there as well. So if you close that out and open up File Manager, you can see it's right there. So that's where I want that. And yeah, a couple optional steps. This is what we're covering soon. This is for gaming. This is for if you just want apps to seem like, or web pages to seem like apps on your desktop or something. And for installing DaVinci Resolve. Unlike on the other distros, this one you can just go ahead, download the zip file, add it to here, and this will fully install it for you. Recommended editions. If you don't game or something, you can just go ahead and delete these, or if you don't do multimedia editing or stuff, these aren't required. But yeah, other than that, let's get to software installation. So I'll be covering 3 ways overall. The first one we kind of touched upon, that is the DNF App Center. That is this right here, where you would be checking for updates and general software that is installed. This is also where we installed the Flatpost one, but yeah, you can search the applications, find what you want. But on top of it, this is also used for installing RPMs usually. Like for me, I have a deck link, and because of that, I need to use root to get all that stuff properly installed from the RPMs. But yeah, so usually you can just double click on it. I'm right clicking because I've had it where it was set to ARC, which is just for extracting. We want it to make sure it's on Nobara Codec Wizard. So then you click on that. It'll of course ask you for your information. Oh, that selected the wrong one. So that didn't go to the right one. See what I'm talking about? It can't go to the wrong one. So if you need to, properties, go to change, and what we want is this, and you move it all the way to the top and hit OK. Don't know why Nobara does it like this sometimes, but it's just weird. So you do that. Again, it'll load up the DNF thing and ask if you wish to install it. So you just click install. Put in your credentials, and it'll get it fully installed up for you. Shouldn't take long for this. See, there you go. Now if you just literally type in port Come on. Installed. Port master? Should be able to find it. See, right there. And I could easily get it launched. We might as well just do it real quick. See, there it is. It's not going to ask you this after reboots. It'll automatically just boot up. You don't have to put in your password every single time. It's just that I wanted to show you that it's fully working. The third way to get it install some software on here is going through Flatpaks. The program used on here is Flatpost. You could use it in just generic user mode, which will not require your user information and such. It is not using elevated permissions for this. Or if you say you know you have one that needs elevated permissions, you could swap it over to system mode. It'll ask you for your password and you can put it on in. And with this, we're going to actually install OnlyOffice. So there we go. And touch upon some of the more advanced options inside here for type of environmental variables. So because sometimes there are apps that just don't run properly, like because of Wayland or such. I have a communications app I use that, yeah, it had issues. It wouldn't launch properly at all, and I'll show you what I'm talking about once this is finished getting downloaded and installed. As you see, it's installing pretty quickly here. The nice thing about Flatpaks is it'll automatically go through, find all dependencies and so forth for the said program you're installing and whatnot, and make sure that it is all set up and working properly for you. So like for here, I'm going to be now clicking on the manage permissions here to show you the extras I was talking about. So on my communications platform, it basically is it had Wayland windowing system off and it wouldn't launch at all. And once I turned this on, it was able to launch without a single problem. But until that was enabled, it was not happy with trying to get it up and running. So as you can see down here, there are many other different variables and things that you can enable for in case an application needs it for the Flatpaks. And hopefully that could help you get those up and running without any kind of issues. Speaking of issues, certain Windows compatibility. I installed OnlyOffice on here because I wanted to bring up that if you're saying working on a collaboration with a bunch of people and you need to be able to access Windows documents and so forth, the most compatible out of everybody is OnlyOffice. Now, when you first launch, say OnlyOffice on here, go ahead into documents, and we're going to take a look at the fonts that are in here because there really aren't that many fonts that come default with Linux. Oh, come on. Got it. Go away. Sometimes I don't know why it just gives an issue. Like if I type in Georgia, you'll see there's no Georgia font. It just doesn't exist. Say no. Because, yeah, I'm not using it. There we go. Because everything's loaded now. So it does come with a number of fonts, but these aren't the default Windows fonts. Some of these actually might also be LibreOffice, which comes default installed onto here. But this is why I mentioned about backing up Windows fonts. Now that I have it here, we can get it placed into the user font folder. And we're going to need terminal for this. So inside where you have your fonts, just right click. Go to open terminal here, and we're going to type in sudo space cp, which is copy, space -r, which is recursive to copy everything in there, Windows fonts, and we're going to be copying it to /user/ /share/fonts. Now, I'm going to double check that I am correct, just in case I misspelled something, because that is also found under root, user, share. I passed it. Where is it? Fonts, come on, my fonts. Fonts. See, I typed it in right. Hit enter. You're going to have to put in your user information because of these elevated permissions. But as you see now, Windows fonts is now copied over onto here. So When I load up only Office again, and say you load up a document that you were working on inside Windows and so forth that had specific fonts or whatnot that you need, they will all be here. Nothing needs to take another minute to populate the fonts. Okay. Oh! Yeah. Go away. What did I just tell it to do? I just told it to do something, I think. Okay, we're gonna close that out. And reload this up. So now, you go down. In fact, I even have the Aptos font in here. See? Here's the, what's supposed to be the new, Windows default font. But if I type in, Georgia, there it is. Hello, Georgia. Okay, the last thing I want to touch on here. Printers. I have no printers found. We have no printers found. No, we're not saving documents. So now we have to get printers found. So for that, we are going into settings. And finding printers. And clicking add. So now this is going to go through and search for the printers that you have on your system. Now I will cover HP secondary, but Epson printers work out of the box with their driverless one, or really pretty much all of them should work. So all you should have to do is select the driverless one, tell it to select recommended printer. I am going to give this a specific name for main because I don't know why in like LibreOffice it does show the printers fully set, ready to just print on, or like GIMP, but these aren't the ones that have been set up. Sometimes it does this too, it doesn't show it immediately on there, so I'm just gonna go back in, and there you go, printer's there, doesn't have an issue. Yeah, there's no way of really checking, unfortunately, the extra stuff I think along with it, but you have access to all of the type of things you want and what type of photo paper and so forth that you're actually using. Now, it shows in here the HP printers. It actually might work for you to just select it, but even on Windows, this printer needs to use the official installer and so forth. So we're going to sort of officially install it from on here too. So we're going to go to the DNF Software Center again and type in HP lip, which is going to delete that because I typed it in too soon. HP lip. And as you see, it shows it has all that stuff on there. So it technically should work. You could just try it. But we're going to go with the graphics tools here. So install. Blah, blah, blah. Come on. Doesn't take too long, thankfully, to get situated, so to speak. Alright, that's installed. You can go ahead and close that out. Hit the Windows key, type in HP, go to graphical tools, and here we go. We're going to tell it to set up device. For me, I already have it on my network. If yours is USB, obviously select that, or if you're setting it up as a new printer, you're going to have to set it for through here so it can set up all the wireless stuff for it specifically. And you're going to have to follow through that. But we're going to do network Ethernet here. It's a little annoying, but it is what it is. So here it is, the HP LaserJet. So hit next. And we will tell it to download the authorized plugin for it. There's a slight EULA that you can read on through. Tell it to accept, hit next, and then you're going to have to put in your password in order to get any further. Plugin install successful. You just have to wait here for this to move on to the next step. So here it is, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Main. Leave the file alone and tell it to add printer. Also, because you have it like this, you can literally like check the ink and everything else along with it. So there you go. So now if we go into OnlyOffice one last time, go into Documents, Test, Print. Now we have both printers accessible. And yeah, that pretty much covers it for just getting the generic setup, getting drivers set up, and having this work for, like, say, an office environment, and making it as compatible as possible between, if you're saying using office work and so forth, between Windows and on here. So I hope you liked this video. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the content that you saw here, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. And if you're already following and everything, then I thank you for the support, and I'll see you all later. Bye!